our other school committee person to see if she will be joining us.
She is.
Hi, Meg. I'm doing a roll call vote to see who is present for school committee. Can you say?
She's still connecting to audio. All right.
Hi, Meg. I'm doing a roll call vote for school committee members.
Meg Rod's in here.
Thank you. So we'll continue on. The Douglas School Committee offers a diverse learning experience that meets the academic, social, and physical and emotional needs of all of our students. We provide a safe, supportive, and challenging learning environment in which students may achieve academic success and personal growth. Decisions are made in the best interest of our students. We don't have any student representatives, correct, Dr. Vera?
Nope, we do not.
Do we have anybody here for public comment? Seeing as not, I'm going to go over, is there any old business that we need to discuss?
There is not.
Turn it over to new business and the superintendent's report, please.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm going to give a brief overview and thank a bunch of people to get us who've helped us get ready for the start of the school year. I will have principals and Dr. Rosenthal come to our first meeting to give a little bit more detail as to how the first few days of school went. But want to start off by thanking some people. And again, in no particular order, we'll start off with our custodians, Jeff Collette and his entire staff. They've worked tirelessly to make sure that our buildings are ready for staff and for students upon the start of the school year. It's important to note we're down 3 custodians since over the summer. We were able to hire one a few weeks ago, and we're in the process of finalizing an offer for another one, I believe, this week. So, again, they've done a great job getting things ready for our students and for our staff. The buildings look great. We're still finalizing some things, but a huge shout out to them. Next is our tech department. Don Sergio is our new tech director, who started in July, and he absolutely hit the ground running. A big, big thanks also to Jake and Scott. You know, there's a lot that goes on in the tech department over the summer between state reporting, rolling things over from one year, managing subscriptions, replacing technology, fixing technology. And in a regular summer, they are straight out. But this summer, they had two pretty massive add-ons to it. The first is we purchased hundreds of new Chromebooks this year. So we ended our lease and we had to package up and return back hundreds of Chromebooks. But in addition to that, we also had to set up all new Chromebooks and iPads, which includes taking them out of the packages, making sure that they have the software on them that's needed, um, making sure that we take an inventory of them. So that's been a massive undertaking. But in addition to that, we're transitioning from iPass to PowerSchool. PowerSchool is going to be our new iPass. So that's a massive transition from one system to the other. What I've tried to tell people is if we remember back in the old days of when we would go from an iPhone 5 to an iPhone 6, how long it would take us to just, let me let Julia in, how long it would take us to do just that little transition from a phone. This is such a huge lift. In addition to, attendance and grades and discipline and things like that on PowerSchool, we're also moving over our food service system to it. We're moving over the nurse system to it. We're taking attendance on it. eSped is now going to be done through PowerSchool. So just a massive lift for them. And, we'll be ready for the start of the school year. There might be a few kinks, as we've mentioned, as there always is when you're doing a massive software rollover. But thank you to them for everything they've done. It's been a massive, massive job, and we're grateful for them. Our admin assistants do all the work behind the scenes to get things ready for teachers and for students between the packets. They've attended hundreds of hours. Well, that's maybe dozens of hours of training on PowerSchool to know how to use it, and they've been there for our staff. Um, our business office, Courtney, Ellen, and Michelle, again, many times working in 3 fiscal years, closing out one year, getting the next year ready. We'll see a lot of the work that Courtney has done in a few minutes with things shortly. So again, thank you to Courtney and her staff for that. Allison just joined us. She's our new food service director. So again, a learning curve for her and getting things up and running. Our special education department has been busy. As you know, there's a new IEP that we're rolling out this year. We had ESY this year, which was great to see a lot of our kids and staff participating in it. And we just finished some PD last week with paras, with special education teachers and regular education teachers for inclusion. And today and tomorrow, we've been running some professional development for our ABAs and paras. So thank you to Lois, to Greg, to Chelsea. And today was the first day for our new coordinator, Kate Buck. And finally, our principals, all their work in organization and getting all the moving parts in order and moving forward for a start to the school year. So pleased with all the work that's been done, and we are ready to go on Monday for teachers and on Wednesday for students. Finally, is just some last minute openings that we still have. District-wide, we are looking at, as I said, for 3 custodians. Hopefully, we finalized one. When I wrote this earlier this morning, we were still looking for a clerk for our special education department. And about 10 minutes ago, I received an email from Dr. Rosenthal that we've agreed in principle with a clerk. So tomorrow we'll be sending them a contract and finalizing some paperwork. So that's exciting. In the buildings at the primary school, we're looking for 2 paraprofessionals. The elementary school is fully staffed. The middle school is looking for a para and an ABA. And then our high school is still looking for 3 paraprofessionals, a computer science teacher, and we are waiting on a waiver for our stripes teacher. We applied for that last week and just waiting for the department to finalize that. So that's where we are with staff and hires for the start of the school year. We had new staff orientation on Monday, where we had our staff come in. They met with us, they met with a bunch of different departments, and then they got to spend the afternoon with their mentees and with principals in the classrooms getting ready for the start of the school year. I'll be happy to answer any questions if people have them.
I have a question about Power School.
Okay.
Let the fun begin. And I'm kind of hoping, like, if any parents in the district just happen to listen to the school committee meeting, maybe this will clear it up a little bit. And I'm also like easing into the school year myself. So, not to say that I maybe should have reread the email like 3 times. I believe that you sent out, Dr. Vieira, that says the parents go ahead and register themselves as a user, and then each child goes in and registers, right? So like my middle schoolers are already on there, seeing their schedule, whatever. But in order for me to connect to all of my children, the only way to do that, I have to send an email to that one email address, right? And
That's correct.
what do we think the timeline looks like on connecting the entire district to their children?
So I talked to Dom today, and he said between when the email went out yesterday at 1:30 and today, he received close to 300 emails, and that's when I met with him first thing this morning. So what he's doing is he's going through the emails, and he sees your name, he has your student's name, and he's sending you that 4-digit code. So he's pecking away at it as he goes along. He said he hopes to have it done by the end of the week, but it just takes the time to get the email, look at the person's name, and then send you the 4-digit code. Scott, I hate to put you on the spot if you're not on it, but is that your knowledge of it as well?
Yep. Yes, Don, I'm talking to Don. He said the same thing.
And is it one code per child, or you get a family code?
I think it's a family code.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good to know.
Do
Was
they
that
have the
Power School?
ability to look up the families, like my kids and I have different last names, so can they look up different last names, or like can they look up parents' names to know who I should have?
He'll go by the demographics, so he'll see your child associated with you.
Okay.
It-
I sent an email like 3 weeks ago and I didn't get a response. That's
Yeah,
why I was.
Correct. So we sent that out just to give people a heads up that it was coming. And then what ended up happening was we didn't disable the link to schedules. So people were calling and saying, my schedule's incomplete. I heard there were 42 kids in this classroom. So we were still working schedules out. So we sent it out to parents just to have access to it. And then when we realized that schedules weren't complete and we were getting more flooded with calls about schedules and who kids had for teachers before things were finalized and not the actual nuts and bolts of it, we shut it down for a little bit and disabled it. Which is why, if you notice at the top of the email, there's a little disclaimer that schedules are subject to change through Wednesday of next week as we're still working on things.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right. I will. That's it for my report. Again, look forward to seeing the kids in school. I think tomorrow there's supply drop off at the elementary school from 8 to 10. We've had a lot of people in the building the past week. It's been great to see some life in the buildings after a quiet summer. So that's it. Again, look forward to seeing everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd like to update and let the record reflect that Julia Lagerhorn joined us at 6:34 p.m. Julia, can you just say that you're present?
Julia Lagerholm, present.
Thank you. Moving on to the school committee and subcommittee reports, the accounts payable report. I signed and verified warrant number 51 SCH 24 and 51 SCHL 24, warrant dated on June 20, 2024, in the amount of $1,037,423.94. There were
Excuse me, Heather, I'm sorry. The total of the warrant amounts, I guess that it's a double total down. It's 518,711.97.
$518 and that's
500,
$518,711.97. There were a total of 20. There was nothing out of the ordinary with this one.
Okay.
The next one was it's like trying to get through the whole thing because I know there's more. Next batch was the general fund batch. Which was that one? That was 89. So the general fund batch was 51 SCH 24 dated June 20th, 2024 in the amount of $89,332.90. And there were 19 items. There's nothing out of the ordinary on those. Next one is batch number 51 SCH 24 dated June 21st, 2024, nine items in the amount of $70,064.74. Nothing out of the ordinary with that one. Next one was 51 SCH 24 dated June 20th, 2024 in the amount of $1,200. Nothing out of the ordinary. Next is batch number 51 SCH 24 dated June 20th, 2024, 19 items in the amount of $30,640.24. Nothing out of the ordinary with those. Next is 51 SCH 24 dated 6/20/2024 in the amount of $2,228. Nothing out of the ordinary. With that, there were 3 items on it. Next is warrant 51 SCH 24 dated June 20th, 2024. 3 items in the amount of $345. Nothing out of the ordinary on those. Warrant number 51 SCH 24 dated June 20th, 2024 in the amount of $6,732. 3 items, nothing out of the ordinary. Next is warrant number 51 SCH L 24 dated June 21st, 2024, 3 items, $697. Next is warrant number 51 SCHL 24 dated June 21st, 2024, and the amount is $697. I could hit that one. Or is that a duplicate? Next is 51 SCH 24 dated June 20th, 2024, and the amount of $128,727.50. There were 8 items, nothing out of the ordinary. Next is warrant number 51 SCH 24 dated June 20th, 2024. There were 12 items in the amount of $4,980, nothing out of the ordinary. Next is warrant number 51 SCH 24 dated June 20th, 2024, and the three items in the amount of $1,110, nothing out of the ordinary. Next is 51 SCH 24 dated June 20th, 2024, in the amount of $7,465.20. There were 18 items, nothing out of the ordinary was noted. Next is batch number 51 SCH 24 dated June 20, 2024, in the amount of $7,811.25, nothing out of the ordinary. There were only 1 item on this. Next is the warrant number 51 SCH 24 dated June 20, 2024, in the amount of $36,147.37. There was 1 item, nothing out of the ordinary. Next is warrant number 51 SCH 24 dated June 20, 2024, in the amount of $3,278.20. There were 11 items. There was nothing out of the ordinary. And that takes care of that 135-page document. So that makes up that. And then, correct, Courtney?
Yeah, we're all set.
That one's set.
Okay. Yeah.
Now I can go to the next one.
Okay. Okay.
Warrant 54 SCH 24 and DMS 24-12 warrant dated June 20, 2024.
Yep,
19 item.
Oh, yep, 19. I'm sorry to interrupt, but does that have a total of 444,107.74?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay, just want to double check. Okay, thank you.
In the amount of $444,107.74, 19 items, and there was nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
And all of that, I don't have to go through that.
No. Okay.
And then
I think that should be it.
I'm just checking it because Lauren sent out a couple of other links this afternoon, so I'm just making sure I didn't miss one. And that should take care of the accounts of payable, because the rest are transfers, and we'll get to that later.
Yes.
Moving on to the consent agenda, if people could look at the July 24th, 2024 meeting minutes.
Let's see. Yep.
If nobody has any issues with it, I'd be looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion to accept the minutes from our July 24th, 2024 school committee meeting.
Motion made by Julie, seconded by?
I second.
Who's?
Yeah,
Me, Teresa.
I'm sorry, it broke up. I'm like,
Oh, no problem.
seconded by Teresa. We need to do a roll call vote. Each individual person.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Meg Rodson, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Thank you. Next is the Douglas Elementary School after-school program fee increase.
Yes, so the current fee that we have for the elementary school after school program is $25 per student per class. And the fee was reduced last year from $50 to $25 because we had built up an amount in our revolving fund. And you certainly don't want to, you're not meant to, in revolving funds, particularly program ones, build up, a large balance. So we did review that last year. And made the decision for the previous school year to reduce it. And at that time, we made that decision. The fund balance at the end of June, as of June 30th, 2023, was $19,997.81. So the fund balance for June 30th, 2024, the fiscal year we just closed, is now down to $5,176.21. And the revenues we received in FY23 was $26,965. The expenditures in FY23 were $14,481.94. Conversely, in FY24, the revenues were $18,295. So of course, less because we did reduce the fee, but the expenditures were $33,116. So at this time, because of we definitely did do the right thing in reducing the fees in FY23. But we definitely, in order to sustain the program, my recommendation would be to bring them back up to the fee that it was in prior years of $50 per student per class. This is for the elementary school program.
Thoughts and consideration from the committee, because I have different thoughts on this. I'm conflicted.
So can you this is for elementary school only, and I'm sorry, this is the after school activity
enrichment program.
Enrichment program.
The enrichment program. Yeah. So as you can see, our expenditures more than doubled. But the only reason that we were sustained and not go in the red is because of the prior year balance of almost $20,000. Now we're down to $5,000 fund balance. So we're $15,000 less. So we do need to, these have to be self-sustaining, so to get the revenue.
Do they have to be self-sustaining? They can't be supplemented by so correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, they definitely should be. It's an after-school enrichment program. I've not seen in my time, I haven't seen that it's funded by other funds. It is it's an after-school program. It's not part of the academic programs, I should say, for lack of a better way of putting it.
My question is, I know it was 50 at one time and we moved it down to 25.
Yeah.
I don't mind raising it a little. I'm not sure I'm on board with doubling the fee.
Correct.
Yeah, and it was 50 from the inception of the program. That was the fee, and we were able to maintain, but then it did grow a balance. And then we certainly didn't want to keep doing that, and that's why we did make the reduction throughout the last school year. And we did take a look at maybe doing 40. But then if you look at the wide difference in the expenditures, and then also look at, how much the revenue dropped, that's why we use up so much of that fund balance. So
can we not do it for the whole year? Can we leave it through the fall and look and see what the trend is going into the next session, or how, whatever you call them. It's not a term, but
yeah,
I think correct me if I'm wrong. I think we do it 3 times a year, correct?
Yeah, we do it 3 times a year. But I mean, I guess, for my own personal thoughts on it are that, we do have 3 sessions per year, as Paul indicated. And I think, number one, it can get very confusing, but also which one, in other words, you get a reduction in the first one. There are different students that do it throughout the year. There could be different offerings, different things. So
I'm just saying, I'm thinking about looking at our balance. Like if the concern is our fund balance, if we
Mhm.
can maintain for, say, the fall one
Oh,
with
I
what
understand what
we
you're
have,
saying. I understand what you're
you know.
saying, but then we're charging a lot less for the, you know, for the just the ones that happen to do it in the fall, but then changing it midstream in the middle of the year. I don't know.
So
You-
I would,
Yeah.
I'm I'm not comfortable doubling it. Like we've
Okay.
had double,
Mhm.
and I'm. It's a great program for our younger kids, right?
Mhm.
And in the community, and so I get that we're trying to like, are we the expenditures? Do we have a stockpile of stuff? Because like I would have liked to have seen
Mhm.
here, like what programs, right? What programs pay for themselves, right? Because there's a whole wide array of stuff that we do throughout the year. Um,
Do you mean within this program? Because this program is just for that, whatever classes they happen to sign up for.
Correct. And how many
Yeah.
kids are in and
Hmm.
how many run,
Yeah.
right?
And who
So,
wants to do it? Really a lot.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Courtney,
so, I'm
Mhm.
50 is not the number that I'm comfortable with.
How
Because
about would you guys be amenable to the 40?
before we, just a quick question.
Hmm.
When's our first session start?
it's normally October, November timeframe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I thought it was a little earlier than that, but definitely not in
So,
September. I know that.
okay, so perfect. So
Yeah, so October, I think October, but
our
because we have
next
three
meeting's
per year. Yeah.
our next meeting's two
But
weeks from today. It's September
hmm.
4th.
Yeah.
Let's do this just to make sure we have additional information because you brought up some great points. Let us look at our trends for the past 2 years. How many kids signed up? How many sessions we ran? How many kids um, were involved? How many teachers we had doing it, and at least give you and us the ability to look at that a little bit more closely. So instead of just throwing a 35 out there or a 40 out there, let's look at trends. And Beth, I absolutely see your point. I get it. But to Courtney, you know, I feel bad penalizing the kids and the families in the spring to pay 50 and the people in the fall pay 25 because you play a sport in the spring, in the fall, and you can't do it. So if it's okay with the committee, can we get that information to you for the next meeting and at least look at how many sessions we ran? And maybe as we dive into it, we might find that we had a spike in enrollment in the fall and the winter, and we had a decline in enrollment in the spring, which is why the expenditures were so high.
Um,
Add to that list of questions, and maybe you can answer this now. Is there an opportunity for any of our students to apply for some type of financial assistance if they cannot afford a $50 fee? Is that an offering?
Well, the school committee does have a policy for, and actually this is another issue for this year that we'll get to later
In a
on.
minute.
Yeah, it's always something these days. Um, but yes, the school committee does have a policy for fees, and it used to be based on the free and reduced lunch application if you were eligible. Um,
The answer is
since we've
yes.
had since we've had the free lunch, a lot of parents don't fill them out. But we do encourage them to fill them out and complete them. But yes, we do have that. I will have to look at something new going into this year. We'll get to that later on in the meeting.
So, Courtney, you're saying
Um,
if they qualified for free school lunch,
mhm.
then do they have the opportunity to also be subsidized, or call it what we will, for after school program? That's what you're saying?
Well, oh no. All I'm saying is that if people qualify for free and reduce lunch, that they can apply for a waiver for fees.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
can someone explain to me what the after school enrichment program is?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So
Thank you.
one thing that started a few years ago, maybe about 7, 8 years ago, is 3 times a year. We started at the elementary school, we moved it to the middle school. Sessions run, I think it's over a 6 week period. Parents pay $50 and they meet. We have various activities for kids. It could be anything from games in the gym to arts and crafts to science stuff. So basically, different activities kids can do after school with teachers. They usually meet Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The sessions run for 6 weeks for 50 minutes after school. So a lot of times you might have families and kids who might do kickball on a Monday or on a Tuesday. Wednesday, they might stay after school for arts and crafts, and Thursday, they might stay after school for poetry writing. So it's just things for kids to do after school with other peers and with staff. And we run it 3 times a year. It looks different in the elementary school than it does at the middle school. We've run cooking in the past, we've run baking in the past. So,
And the
that's
cost is $50 per day or $50
No,
per
no, 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 $50 for the entire
6
session.
weeks,
So 6 weeks.
weeks.
So it's $50 for 6
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
correct.
And how many times do they meet a week?
Once a week.
So 6 times so it's less than at $50, it's less than $10 a day. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So is that all right? We get you additional information for the next
Yeah.
meeting?
Yes, please.
Yeah, we definitely have time.
Yep.
Yep.
Anything else on the consent agenda?
Yes, we
Oh,
add
yes.
school lunch fees, and we have
Yeah.
Courtney
Mhm.
and our new food service director, Allison, here to go over it with you.
Mhm. So we did send out a revised agenda on this. And hopefully you did receive the revised one. It went out, I believe, this morning. Okay. So just to confirm that student school lunch and breakfast is free for the 2024-2025 school year. And this means that the state is covering the first lunch and breakfast pursuant to USDA regulations. And additionally, Douglas is eligible to participate in the community eligibility provision, commonly known as CEP, for the high school only. There was some confusion between the state and Douglas regarding which schools or if it was the entire district, but it is the high school only. So the middle school, elementary school, and primary school did not qualify. So the high school being eligible for CEP allows the school to serve the free meals to all students without having to collect the free and reduced lunch applications. The other 3 schools still need to send out and collect the free and reduced applications. The CEP provision requires an eligible school to serve universal free school lunch and breakfast. And there are many districts in the state that are eligible for CEP for the first time due to the new criteria guidelines that were recently released. It's my understanding they also changed the formula as well. But second lunches and breakfast are not free and must be charged a fee. So we do still each year have to come to the school committee with regard to the fees. So if a student wanted a second lunch or a second breakfast, and also for the adult meal as well, and for the student breakfast district-wide. Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, the CEP part threw me.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
so
through us too.
yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, what am I reading? Okay, so the entire student body will get free lunch and breakfast only if they submit an application, except at the high school where everyone.
No,
That's not it.
no, I know it's very, very, very confusing. I tell you, that's so we will be sending out. Actually, Allison, would you like to speak to this aspect of it, seeing you were working on it all day yesterday and today? So.
Hi, everyone. Yes, no problem. So, Massachusetts has built into their legislation that all students get free meals. So everyone in the District of Douglas will receive their first meal for free as long as it meets the USDA regulations. CEP just basically means that what Courtney said earlier is they changed the criteria for it. So the reason why the high school is eligible is because it used to be at least 40% of the student population at that school had to qualify for free and reduced lunch. They changed it to 25%. So the high school is eligible to participate in the community eligibility provision. And in the most simplest way to say it is they still get free meals.
Mhm.
That we just don't have to collect free and reduced applications for them. All the 3 other schools continue to get free meals. We are just encouraged that we are required to still send out the free and reduced lunch applications, and families are still encouraged to fill them out, complete them, and send them back to the schools.
Allison,
Mm.
what's the plus and minus of filling it out and not filling it out? What's the impact on the district, on kids in the community, if parents do or don't do it?
So I mean, one of the big things is Massachusetts wants to keep free meals forever. So if we continue to complete these applications, they will still be able to justify that there is a need for it, and we can continue to provide free meals to our students forever, is one of the big things. Another reason is it helps with funding for the schools, I believe, for different reasons in different programs. I believe athletics and Title I and things like that. And then again, it's good for us to have it on file because we want to continue to provide free lunches to our students.
Thank you for that. That's very helpful. And
Does that make more sense? Because I can try to explain it more. It's I know it's a
no,
little
that's
confusing.
fine. I just was like reading it wrong. And welcome, by the way. Thank you so much for being
Thank you.
here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other further debate?
So we're not going to send them out to the high school, even though that potentially could get additional funding into the district if people fill them out. I know we don't have to, but if it could show that we could potentially get additional funding, have we thought about that being worth it?
It was my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Allison, that although we can double check on it, but we are not to collect them.
Right. Yeah,
I know that it's
we're not to collect them
right.
at the high school, and
Mhm.
we have to look into it more on the funding piece, and how we're going to establish different things there, because I know they used it as a way to evaluate for scholarships, right?
And for
Yep.
waivers.
Well,
So
for waivers
yeah, and
yeah, for
yeah,
waivers, yeah.
waivers.
Mhm.
So when they meet the CEP criteria, I don't know if they're already in a different category where they are eligible for additional funding. I'm not 100% sure. I've never
Okay.
worked in a district that was CEP
Mhm.
eligible, so I do have to find out
Me
some more
neither.
information on it. However, it is helpful, and honestly, I think that the state doesn't want you to send them out if you are CEP eligible. So,
Yeah, that's my understanding.
yeah.
Yeah. And I do know from my Masbo listserv that because I immediately, when we got this information, the final approval regarding this, it took me a few days, but then I said, "Oh my goodness!" I said, we use the free and reduced application for waivers." So I wasn't the only one thinking of it. The minute I mentioned it to Paul, it was within, I think it was 24 hours throughout the whole state, Masbo listserv, because a lot more are CEP eligible. They were all sending emails out saying, "What are you doing now for, waivers?" So I did get some emails from a bunch of colleagues throughout the state to look at what they are using, but I did print it out, haven't had enough time to actually look at it myself to really dive into it, just to make sure before I bring it before the school committee. But I do at least have something to start with that I know other districts are looking into as well, because this is a new thing for a lot of districts throughout the state. So they just like we are, finding out just recently, and then realizing that for the waiver we need to come up with something as well. So I am working on that. I do have something I hope will work out, but I need to do some more research before I bring it forward to the school committee. A lot of changes.
Do we think that we'll have something before open house? Because I think that is like a target audience to be able to have that discussion.
Now, when
And
is
like I
open?
said,
I'm sorry, when is open house? I'm trying to remember.
I think it's the third week in September.
Let me
Okay.
look.
Yep, I can try to get it for the 4th, September 4th. That meeting on September 4th. No. 18th. When is the open house again?
Give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up
Okay.
on the calendar.
Yeah, no, I didn't recall. Yeah. It might be better actually to bring it on I think the following meeting would be the 18th, September 18th, I
I
believe.
think open
Yeah.
house will have already happened.
So what is the date again, Heather? I'm sorry.
I think it's this third week in September. I think it's the week of the 10th or the following week of the week of.
So we would have to do it on the 4th.
Right.
So we have open house for the primary and the elementary school on the 12th, which is a Thursday, and then we have open house for the high school and middle school on the 19th, which is the day after our 18th school committee meeting. So it would be beneficial if we could do it for the 4th. That way we could have the information for families really.
Yeah. Okay. But again, luckily I do have something that I know, and again, everybody's just looking at it now. Nobody's even gone down the road or had it approved yet that I know of, that all the people that were on the listserv, but okay. So we will have that for September 4th.
Dr. Vieira, did you pull up something on the website or something of your own?
I went to the website first, and then I saw the calendar, and I read the calendar.
Okay, but we have open house on the main calendar page, right? Is that right?
Well, let me go see. So
I'm only asking you that because I'm seeing all the chatter happen about finding 24, 25 information, and a lot of the website is still 23, 24, be it schedules or whatever. So I was curious where you were pulling it from.
So right on the homepage, if I go to www.douglasps.net, the first main thing after the mission statement is the 24-25 school calendar. That's right there. Let me see what happens if I go to, for instance, the elementary school.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The school one, maybe.
Yeah, I just didn't know if all the calendar, I do see what you're talking about. I didn't know if all the calendars had gotten updated yet.
They should. If I go to the calendar, yeah, the calendar is there, but the information has not transferred over. So let me take care of that calendar piece tomorrow. But it is on the main webpage.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that goes, at least last time I checked, that went for bus routes too. People were trying to find bus routes, and everything is still showing 23, 24 when you go to the individual schools.
The bus routes?
No, they're right on the front page.
Yeah, so if I go to Douglas Elementary School.
Oh, the schools haven't posted it yet. Okay. But I did post it, on the front page.
Yeah, so
okay.
So everyone keeps directing everyone where to find stuff.
Yeah. So
yes,
we'll
says
definitely
23, 24 bus routes. All
yeah,
right.
we'll have everyone check their, you know what I mean, on their, you make sure it's on the schools or
Right.
check their school section for what they need to post on the school end.
Thank you guys. Sorry, that was a
no problem.
Nope, it's important.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to get bombarded when they do supply drop-offs this week, right? So if anybody else, I'd be looking for a motion.
Sorry, one more thing on the school lunch before we move to approve this.
Yep.
Is this a price increase or is this the same?
Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't get to it. Thank you,
No, I'm sorry.
This is the same. Oh, no, don't apologize. No, any questions are absolutely fine. You guys ask a lot of good questions. This is, and thank you for asking that. This is maintaining the same prices as last year.
If no further questions, I'd be looking for a motion.
I move to approve the following school lunch fees for the 2024-2025 school year for the second lunch or breakfast as follows. Do I have to read all of this?
Please.
Oh, okay. Douglas High School, $375. Douglas Middle School, $375. Douglas Elementary School, $350. Douglas Primary School, $350. Student breakfast district-wide, $2.25. An adult meal at $4.75, not including meals tax.
Thank you. Motion made by Meg, seconded by?
Teresa.
Second by Teresa.
Anybody?
I need to have a roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Meg Rodden, aye.
Julie Langenholm, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Sorry, Julia. All
Sorry.
right.
Oh, yeah.
No worries. Next is moving on. Anything else on the consent agenda? I think we got everything.
Yes, yeah, we're all set, except for the transfers and reclasses that we.
That's the next thing.
Yeah, yeah.
This
So
is your
moving on
Super
to the
Bowl.
school business and operations manager report.
Okay, thank you very much, Heather. First, again, when I welcome Allison O'Rourke, our new food service director. Also, I can't, I apologize. I can't remember whether we talked about it last time or not, but I'm going to reiterate. We did have new position in my office filled, Michelle Esposito. Everything is going wonderful. We're very happy to have them. And I want to throw out a big, big, big thank you to Ellen Stand, my other assistant in my office. She has been doing a fabulous job. It was a tough summer for us, but we hung in there, and I'll tell you, I really do thank her for everything that she's done. As always, she works very hard, and she's done a lot to keep things afloat, working with me. We've got a great team right now, as well. And I want to reiterate what Paul had said earlier. We've got a lot of good people in this district working together as a team. And as they say, what do they say now? A team, about team and dream, or I can't remember.
Teamwork makes the dream.
That's it. Right. That's it. Teamwork makes the dream work. And that is really what I see going on a lot. I mean, throughout the district, and it really makes you feel good. Things have gotten tough, tougher and tougher, as you know. But it makes it so much better when you have people pulling the rope in the same direction and working together as a team. It just makes things so much nicer. And with that said, I also want to reiterate as well, Jeff and the custodians work. Again, we are missing, as Paul had said, 3 full-time positions. Hopefully we'll have one of them, filled within the next few days. And also the new position. I mean, we really do need that new position, but we're just hoping to fill the 3 right now that we had for years. So, and then hopefully we can do that as well. So a great big thank you to all the assistants that we received to get things going and ready for the beginning of the school year. So now we move on into one of the things we've been working on a lot lately is closing the FY 2024 fiscal year. So we have a number of reclassifications that I'll go through. We'll go through them pretty quickly. And then the last one will be the FY 2024 transfers, the year-end transfers, because that's the last thing that we do. So the first one that I will present to you is the FY 2024 reclassification number 13. And this was to use up the rest of the 240 grant, one of the special education grants that we do receive every year that we typically use for tuition, and also some other things as well. We use it in FY 24 for contractual services, just need to be reclassed into the grant. And that grant is all set now, the FY 2024. Does anyone have any questions on reclass number 13? All set? Okay.
Do you want me to do the motion first? We're going to take it
Sure.
separately.
Yeah, that'd be great if we can just do that real quick. Might be easier.
I'd be looking for a motion for the reclassification number 13, dated August 21st, 2024.
So moved.
Motion made by Beth, seconded by
Meg.
Seconded by Meg. All the roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Meg Robson, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Heather Moore and I.
Okay, thank you. We're moving on to FY 2024 reclassification number 14. I am reclassifying some summer school para professionals into the ESSER 3 grant. And this grant is from, as you can see, FY 22. It's one of the COVID grants. It's actually up as of September 30th. And I did email them and get permission and made sure it was okay to use up the remaining balance. So we don't have to send any money back. So I did these reclassifications. I also did it for some FY 25 summer school as well, because we do have until September 30th to use the grant. but this is just for FY24 at this time.
I'd be looking for a motion for the reclassification number 14 dated August 21st, 2024 in the amount of $29,816.41.
So moved.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
Meg.
Seconded by Meg. All those in favor with a roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Meg Robson, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Heather Moore and I.
Okay, thank you very much. And moving on to FY 2024 reclassification number 15. Again, this is when we were closing out and reconciling, I should say, some of the grants. We did need to make some corrections. Some of them were just either, the dollar amount, and then move it from the Title I to the general fund. Or it could be like the second one there, it just was an object code issue. So we just had to make that correction there.
Any further discussion? I'll be looking for a motion to approve the FY24 reclassification number 15 dated August 21st, 2024 in the amount of $1,706.61.
So moved.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
Meg.
Seconded by Meg. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Robson, aye.
Julia
Okay.
Lagerholm, aye.
Sorry.
Heather Moore and I.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sorry, I was jumping the gun there. Okay. FY 2024 reclassification number 16. This is our annual reclassifying from school choice to the general fund. And again, it's part of Julia's just part of the process of closing out the books.
If nobody has any questions, I'd be looking for a motion for the FY 2024 reclassification number 16 dated August 21st, 2024 in the amount of $471,971.72.
So moved.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
Meg.
Seconded by Meg. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Meg Robson, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Heather Moore and I. Thank you.
Okay, and then we just had one more, FY 2024 reclassification number 17. So when you do that many postings and it gets posted, I had to do one more. Basically all that is. From school choice into the general fund.
If there are no further questions, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the FY24 reclassification number 17 dated August 21st, 2024 in the amount of $1,373.50.
So moved.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
Meg.
Seconded by Meg. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Robson, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Heather Moore and I.
And just to show you just how much fun we've been having. So FY 2024 reclassification number 18 is the same thing, but going in the other direction to get it, and when you're doing loads and loads of these postings, this is what happens. So this is the final one.
There's no further question. I'd be looking for a motion to approve the FY24 reclassification number 18 in the amount of $859.81.
So moved.
Teresa Brooks
Okay.
makes the motion, seconded by
Meg.
Seconded by Meg.
Okay.
Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Meg Robson, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Heather Moore and I.
Okay, thank you. And now the next one is, and actually I'll save this one for last, because actually we'll stick with 2024 first. So if you look at the FY 2024 transfers, for year end, so this is the last thing that we do after we do all the reclass and everything. This is just to clean up the report because I just have to have everything come out to exactly zero. That's all it is moving everything around so that it, pretties up the report. Doesn't change anything with expenditures, doesn't change anything with encumbrances. It's just moving things around. It cleans up the report.
Does anyone have a copy of that? Because I cannot find it. I have the reclassifications. I do not have.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw it there when I looked at the email. I thought it was the one sent, I think this morning or early afternoon. Was it this morning or early afternoon?
That's the FY24 transfers number 8 year
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Heather, it's in the second email that went out with the updated agenda.
Yeah, I'm trying to find because I click on 48 million.
It's like 9 pages or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Okay.
It's reclassification number 1.
Oh, no, that's the one we're going to do after. It's the FY 2024 transfers number 8 year end.
Well, they're all labeled reclassifications.
No,
so
this is a transfer.
This one's labeled FY 2024 transfers number 8 year end.
Yeah.
But it's in a separate email.
Hal, I'll forward it to you right now.
Thank you.
Push it to the top.
Unless
assuming I'm doing the right one.
Yeah, unless a school committee someone wants to make the motion.
I can make the motion.
I just sent it to you, Heather.
I was gonna say, I'm looking at it. I move to approve the Douglas Public Schools FY 2024 transfers number 8 year end school committee meeting today on August 21st, 2024.
Motion made by Meg. What's the amount, please, though, Meg?
Sorry. Oh God.
Oh, no, they're on there's no amount.
It says, oh, it's 0.
Yeah, just going back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have this. It must be buried somewhere, but motion made by Meg, seconded by
Teresa.
Julia.
Seconded by Teresa. Roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Meg Rodson, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Heather Moore and I.
Okay, thank you very much. That's everything for FY24. And you know what else I realized in my zest to get that darn SR3 grant closed out? I'm going to hold that off until the 4th because it's not on the agenda as far as FY25 transfers and reclassifications. And it's not, we have plenty of time. I just wanted to get it done. So I'll bring the same thing back on the 4th.
Okay.
So we just dealt with FY24 tonight. So once everything gets all, we still have to do the 3-page document where we show you all the summary balances, carry forward balance, revenues, expenditures, encumbrances in year end for the entire district for all funds. We are still working on that, so we'll be bringing that back to you in September. And also, I hope to have also the trend analysis sheet that I do for the school lunch program and also the preschool program. That one sheeter that kind of has, many years, so you can kind of see the ebbs and flows, historically speaking, with those two programs, because those are 2 of our bigger programs. So I will have that for you as well. And I think that's it for tonight for me. Unless anyone has any questions or anything. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Courtney.
We will definitely check out the websites.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Any topics not anticipated?
Not tonight.
I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'm still off mute, so I move to adjourn at 7:25 p.m. on August 21st, 2024.
Motion made by Teresa, seconded by
Meg.
Seconded by Meg. We can do a roll call vote, please.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Teresa Brooks, aye.
Meg Rodson, aye.